is time to talk about your ideal client. You've already taken the high-level view, you've survived the pain points, and you have set yourself up with every tactic to bring your best to the table. So now it's time to zoom in on one of the most critical elements of success, knowing exactly who you serve and how you can build efficiency into your workflow, so you know you're specifically speaking to those clients that you want. It is time to zero in. This module is about getting very clear on who you want to reach. Who is your ideal client? What's the best way to connect with them? How do you ensure you're efficiently reaching them instead of spinning your wheels and talking to people who aren't going to be the client you want? In the marketing world, this is called your target demographic, and the activities that follow develop customer personas. But for our purposes, this is really just about figuring out who your ideal client is in great detail and targeting your message to them. You don't need to reach everyone. You just need to connect with the right ones. So today's focus is understanding your ideal client and how to build intentional connection. I want to reiterate that you are not for everyone, and that is your superpower. So we're going to look at why knowing your target matters. Spoiler, it makes everything easier. We're going to remember that your ideal client isn't a guess, it's a real defined persona. So we'll talk about how to build a simple audience persona that works for small business. We're also going to talk about specificity, because specificity leads to connection, trust, and better results. So we'll talk through tools for reaching your ideal people without wasting time or money. And we're going to know our clients' habits, pain points, and values so we can help ourselves show up intentionally. Remember, the clearer your client persona, the clearer your content, offers, and brand voice. Clarity here equals power and efficiency. You can't build a message that lands if you don't know who you're talking to. Marketing becomes easier and way more effective when you know your audience like a close friend. So today we define your ideal client and begin mapping the best ways to connect with them. The mindset to bring today: curiosity, honesty, and flexibility. So you are here. Step 4, take inspired action. We are in active mode now. This is about crafting marketing that works because it's aligned, strategic, and intentional. In part, it's also about aligning ourselves and our output with our ideal clients. Today's FirePoint challenge: number 1, I want you to complete the module, watch the video through. Number 2, we have our module skill set questions. And number 3 is our social post. I want you to post a short reflection answering who is your ideal client and what do they really need to hear from you today. Share their struggles, their values, or the transformation they're looking for. Bonus points if you add how to help them get there. Don't forget to tag Rose Amber Foundry with #CustomerFirstPerspective. So let's start with a simple truth. You are not for everyone, and that's good news. Your persona isn't a guess. It is a mirror. When you define who you're speaking to, you stop shouting into the void and you start lighting a fire that draws the right people in. When you know exactly who you're trying to reach, everything sharpens. Your messaging, your branding, your content, your approach, and your confidence. So what is an ideal client? This is your best fit customer, the kind of person you love working with, who gets value from what you offer, and who is likely to return, refer, and rave about you. So let's build your ideal client persona. I want you to picture just one person in your mind, and then let's work to define who they are. We will do this eventually for other similar personas because there won't be just one ideal client for you, but for now, pick that one most obvious one. We want to ask questions like name. Give them an actual name, just for fun. I want you to define their age, their location, and their primary interests, goals, and values. We also want to look at their buying behaviors, what they're searching for, where they spend time online, and keep that relevant to you and your business. Head over to the Vault and download the Define Your Ideal Customer Persona worksheet. We're actually going to work through this together. I want to work through the questions for that one person you described above. So if you haven't already, pause the video and go open the worksheet. Now start with the basics. I want you to paint a picture like you're describing a real person. So we're going to list their name, their age range, their gender identity, their location, so that might be city, urban, rural, local, global, and then we're going to talk about their career, industry, and income level. Then we're going to dig into the psychology. This is where the gold is. So let's say that you're a stylist looking to guide budding fashionistas through selection of the next big trend, clothing. Let's look at the psychology of a potential ideal client for you. What are their biggest goals or dreams? That might be, I want to become a fashion influencer. What are their current frustrations or pain points? I don't know where to find on-trend deals. Or I want affordable fashion finds before anyone else so I can tell my followers about them. I want you to consider what's holding them back. Is it time, budget, trust, confidence? And what are they Googling late at night? Something like fashion trendsetters or affordable fashion. Then we're going to map their journey. Think about where your clients are before they find you and what they're seeking. What have they already tried? What solutions didn't work? What would finally make them feel seen and supported? And then what we need to do is align that with what you offer. So we want to connect their needs to your service. How does what you do solve their problem? How can you speak their language, not just pitch certain features? And what transformation are you really offering to them? So next we need to gain clarity in your ideal customer's behavior, their habits, their values, and behavior. The goal of this section is to help you understand your ideal customer's daily habits, digital behavior, and personal values so you can show up where they already are. And you can speak their language and create content that resonates. When you know where your customer spends time and what they care about most, you stop guessing and then start connecting. This clarity allows you to focus your marketing energy on the right platforms, messages, and touch points that actually move them to action. So go download our worksheet, the Customer Clarity Worksheet. Let's walk through this one together. So if you haven't already, pause the video, go open the worksheet, and then come back. So let's turn the persona into direction. Now that you've defined your ideal customer and uncovered where they spend their time and what they care about, it's time to turn that insight into action. Ask yourself, where can I meet this person? Online or in person? What platforms are worth your time? And then consider what kind of content would resonate with them emotionally or practically. Are they looking for education, inspiration, relatability, entertainment, or even reassurance? Finally, think about how your brand voice, which is a topic coming next, how that brand voice can speak directly to them with relatability and trust. This is where marketing shifts from broadcasting to connecting and where your strategy starts to take shape. So now we need to ask ourselves, where can I meet this person? Is it online or in person? What kind of content would resonate with them? How can my brand voice, again coming next, speak to them with clarity and trust? It will help to write a statement that answers these three questions. Call this the Reach My Client statement. You don't need to write a novel, just be concise and think in terms of the actions you'll take. Here is a sample Reach My Client statement for a birthday cake baker. Question, where will I show up to reach this person? Instagram using Reels with local hashtags, Facebook groups for moms and party planning, and also local vendor markets. What kind of content will I focus on? They might use behind-the-scenes cake decorating videos, birthday party inspiration boards, customer testimonials, and simple planning tips for busy parents. And how will my brand voice connect with them? Warm, playful, and reassuring, with a tone that says, you handle the celebration, I'll handle the cake. And then the final message match statement. I'll connect with busy parents and party planners through Instagram Reels, Facebook groups, and local events, sharing joyful, behind-the-scenes cake content and helpful tips. My voice will be warm, upbeat, and stress-free, so they know to trust me to bring the magic without the overwhelm. You may like to work through steps 1, 2, and 3 for an alternate persona or two. I encourage you to keep the number of personas small for now. You can always add more later, but remember that these personas are helping you keep your messaging and your approach very narrow, deliberately. So instead of shouting into the void, you are very specifically addressing a person who is most likely to become your ideal customer or client. Specificity is key here, trust me. It will keep your messaging focused and uncluttered, and it will streamline your efforts. So our resources and activities for today. External resources include the article Creating Buyer Personas That Actually Work from HubSpot and the podcast Marketing Made Human. In our vault, we have the Customer Persona Worksheet and a Customer Clarity Worksheet. Our real-world examples include a couple of writing prompts today. The first one talks about who have you loved working with and who have you not loved working with, and talking about those qualities that made the difference. Second prompt, I want you to create a persona for your ideal client. Use that customer persona worksheet and identify where they spend their time. And of course, declare one key way you plan to reach them moving forward. This week, I want you to test a small piece of content written just for that ideal client and observe how much easier it makes your life when you have a specific, clear person in mind. Don't forget our FirePoint challenges for today. Number 1, completing the module. Number 2, our module skill set questions at the very end of this module. And 3, our post on social, answering the ideal client and what do they really need to hear from you today. Don't forget to tag Rose Ember Foundry with hashtag customer first perspective. Clarity in who you serve brings clarity in how you show up. Energy flows where intention goes. Today we talked about what an ideal client is and why it matters. We walked through how to map out a quick audience persona, and we looked at simple ways to tailor your outreach content and voice. This activity is something to revisit as your business grows and evolves. You will meet new clients, you will gain perspective into how you might work with alternative clients, or your business might change and you may add on new services and products. So set yourself a goal of revisiting and revising customer personas each year and add a calendar reminder so it doesn't slip through the cracks. Go ahead and do that right now. There's one thing I haven't mentioned yet. Which type of strategy is the ideal customer clarity? Is it business strategy or personal? Pause for a sec. I want you to think about it. You're correct. It's both. It's one of the most important strategy tools out there because it leans solidly into both camps. It's business for obvious reasons, and it's personal because you're deciding how you approach things and what you bring to the table. And don't forget, keep it simple, specific, and ensure that your messaging is focused. Your ideal client may evolve, but your ability to speak directly to them is a superpower. Use it well.